and a Golem mono time deck.
All right, looks like they just got into their game, so we are going to head right down there now. All right, we are viewing from Jedi EJ's side, so we've got the mono time side, and then we should have Serpentrepent here in the hand cam, although it looks like we got that spectating issue on the hand cam, so I'm going to reset that one here real quick. Luckily, we haven't run into that too much. All right, so Jedi's got a pretty standard hand for even time. Doesn't have the Golem, but everything else is pretty good here. You got the Scribe, and then interesting. They only have interesting way they played their power there. They weren't able to play the Scribe on turn 2 there, and they do have the Sand Warrior, which is pretty nice, a nice free spell there, followed by an Obelisk and a Titan. But unfortunately, we're not able to play the Scribe on turn 2 because of the power.
In this case, I don't think it matters too much, but yeah, I think they're probably hoping to be able to play it in turn 2. Ooh, there we go.
And a good start by Serpent here for sure.
This is quite a strong start for Serpent. They didn't put the Amber Coin. It's interesting enough. They're going to hold up the torch for any plays, I guess.
I do love Kimi though. This card is so sweet. It's pretty much a must deal with in these matchups.
Yeah, unfortunately, because of its size, not able to deal with the things like the Samson Titan. The turn 4 plays is where Kimi gets stalled. They decide to go for the phase out. Hit the Titan, and they're going to be able to torch this 3/3. Wait. I think I would torch first there, right?
All right, well, there's the torch.
Attacking with the 1/1. I understand you want to push more damage here, and maybe they just ace without really. Sometimes you just ace, man. But
it always feels good to ace base.
In a couple of turns here, they're gonna by the next turn they're gonna have 11 unblockable damage coming at them.
Yeah, and the mono time deck does a lot of things really well, but interacting with shift units, unblockable units, having that instant speed interaction is not something that this deck does well. So if Serpent can keep putting on pressure with unblockable units, there's really not anything the time deck can really do about it. They just have to be able to race and try to block what they can block and hit back on the crackback. But if Serpent just hits with unblockable damage, there's nothing this time deck can really do to stop that.
Yeah, and unblockable damage coming this turn, like the Jedi has to really set up a bunch of blockers, and they just can't. They just played another Obelisk. That's not really. They don't really care about this. They're just gonna continue attacking here, and next turn they're gonna have another 5/5 that comes off of the shift.
Yep. All right. Well, I'm gonna switch back to the other setting. I think it was better to have his volume be a little low than have the echo. So we'll switch over to that, and then I'll keep tweaking some things after this match. Yeah, and this is what we talked about. I mean, Jedi's going to be able to hit back with a few units, but what unblockable do we have here? You got 5, 8. I mean, you have lethal unblockable in 2 turns. So Jedi's just going to have to try to race.
They're going to continue attacking here. Very good. And then there's going to be 2 more unblockable units coming down in play. That's 11. And let's see, 5 damage goes through. So they do technically have lethal next turn if they have no life gain. Now, they're attacking here. Do they have lethal on the back swing? It's by 1.
It's by 1. They have 14.
If they have a power, Jedi has a power in their hand.
Jedi does. Look at this. Oh, would you have left something back here? And they have a charge unit too. Look at that.
Now, if you had left one back, you still would have been dead. But I think I would have because that would have prevented. It would have prevented lethal from literal play power, which it's very unlikely that they. It's very likely that they do have it.
Well, do I feel dumb? Chad, I'm speaking about how much of a blowout this is and how all this unblockable damage. Now they need to race, and you turn around and look at this, and Jedi just wins on the backswing.
Sometimes Modern Time Legendaries has a lot of power inherent in just by playing on the curve.
Absolutely. Okay, so Jedi is going to take game one there.
So a couple of I think in the end that one the initiate not being able to attack again may have been something that could have robbed them of it because they wouldn't have had a blocker that turn. And maybe I don't know. It's hard to tell, right? What your what plays that far down, and because I don't think they ever used that power again, right?
I don't think so. So do you think that there's a clear advantage here for one of these decks, or do you think they're pretty evenly matched up? They seemed pretty even in that matchup. Although they kind of ignored each other for that matchup a little bit. One was hitting with unblockable damage, and the other built up a board and hit back.
Yeah. I think the even-handed Golem deck is, in general, I think it's the most powerful deck right now. It's very hard to beat. It not only has the best size units, but it also has a fair amount of card draw and reload potential against things like Harshal. So I think that the even hand golem is just simply the better deck. But if anything can beat it on that kind of axis, it might be the practice.
What do you think of the matchup with the Ikaria decks? We have 3 Ikaria decks in the tournament. How do you feel that matches up against the Eventime deck? They have a lot of removal. They can keep them from developing a board.
Yeah, a lot of it comes down to if they get the obelisk down, whether or not it's able to be dealt with, what market decisions and choices are from the Ixton deck. If the obelisk is able to be dealt with and or the units, then it can be a close matchup. But I think in general the reload potential of the Green Golem, like if you play Lights Out Ace said that when he sees an Echo card, he jumps in joy because of just how good the matchup is for them. And I tend to agree because even-handed Golem itself is
All right. Looks like we got the spectator bug again. Looks like the Eternal app is not cooperating well with everyone tonight. But we'll get it right back in here. Yeah, in my experience, that matchup also comes down to the even-handed golem a little bit. If you don't have the golem and you struggle to develop a board, the obelisk isn't as impactful. They can sometimes go over the top. But if you're able to get through their harsh rules with a bunch of even-handed golems and keep up on card advantage, and then turn your random 2-drops into real threats they have to deal with, then you can usually outgrind them and win them in the end. But I'm not surprised to hear that that Lights Out likes that matchup. But I don't think it's as easy as it's still a good deck. I mean, the card deck is still a really strong deck, so I don't think it's a gimme either.
Yeah, for sure. We're gonna get the Kimmy to come down now. Kimmy isn't the best in this spot.
Yeah, let's get on this board. Looked a lot better last game. But they're gonna attack into it.
I mean, they're gonna double block. It's not.
Now, they do have a torch in hand, so they're actually gonna take out. And keep their Kimi. That's actually a pretty good play. Nice use of torch. We've seen a lot of torch in these tournaments over the last 6 weeks. Torch has just been all over the place. Solid card in whatever format.
I'm gonna be glad when the format moves out of the torch range.
Yeah, we were really hoping to get that. Really hoping to get that for tonight or the new set, but we'll have to wait on Flames until next week. All right, playing out the assembly line, getting some Granite in here, followed by Nimble Conscript, and then a Waystone Elemental. That's a pretty powerful turn by Serpent.
Yeah, Jedi is good. They're not behind on anything, right? This is their fourth power.
This is their fourth power, yeah.
This is the fourth turn, and they basically have no board, and Serpent has everything. Do they
They
have? I'm assuming they have Obelisk in their deck, right? Yes,
they
they do.
do. Yeah.
So if any time Serpent Serpent draws an Obelisk, it's game over. Plus, Serpent has a Arcana monitor in their market. Yes.
And they just took it out. Good call. They just grabbed the monitor.
See here, I would have. I think I would have torched beforehand, right? Mate. Oh, actually, this was they Jedi made a block that's favorable towards this torch.
It is, yeah. Just really trying to get that, blocking to get the Kimi off board is just asking for removal or combat tricks here.
Yeah.
And that's just going to be too little too late, yeah.
Serpent draws a power next turn. It's definitely full. I haven't counted on lethal. They have 4, they block 1. Yeah, there's definitely lethal.
Yeah.
Jedi doesn't. Oh, and they draw the power.
Oof. And that's going to be a lot. That was just too brutal. I don't even know if there was anything Jedi could do there. That was just too brutal of a curve out from Serpent there. Really showing the power of this tokens deck, this go wide. And it also hurt Jedi, I think, to have, if you look at the cost of their hand, they did have a lot of 4-drops. They had 4 4-drops in hand and an Ash last turn. There was only so much they can do when you get to your 4th turn and have 4 power. You're playing one thing. Whereas Serpent's throwing out 4 units at a time. And that's going to be lethal. Serpent's going to tie it up at 1. So we've got 1-1 going into Game 3. So do you feel that either deck has an advantage going into Game 3? Is this play-draw dependent?
Well, I don't think we have unfortunately, we don't have force play-draw here.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that either deck has advantage on the play.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that not as much for the even-handed golf deck, but since the Praxis Tokens deck has an advantage on the play, then we have to look at that. So I think that the Praxis Tokens deck is on the play. It's definitely a lot better for the Praxis Tokens deck, and I think it's a lot worse for the
right
golem deck because it's better for the Praxis deck.
All right.
Because of course the monotime deck is looking to go later, right?
Right.
It is looking to control. It is the control deck in this matchup, even if it feels aggressive sometimes. If it feels damage, it is the control deck in this matchup.
Mm-hmm. All right. So Jedi has got not an amazing hand. They've got the Scribe. They've got the 0-drop. They got a Pride Leader and a Mystic Ascendant, but nothing that's... Oh, there's an Obelisk. That helps, but it's not the most broken hand you've seen. But not either on the other side either, though. I mean, on the other side, we've got a Titan and 2 Torches. I don't think either player is extremely happy with these hands, but they're keepable.
I think I would have kept that Amber coin 1 extra turn, and of course this turn. What's this? There would have been an attack. Yeah, I mean they would have been able to get a 1 extra unit out of it. Uh-oh. The server's going to regret not using these torches.
Yeah. Yeah, not using the torch, and he's going to draw the 3rd one, but... Well, yep. I'm going to draw the 3rd one. Again, not taking out... Interesting not taking that out before combat.
I think I just would have attacked it. Right.
Alright.
There's no reason to risk them blocking there. It could have been a nice bluff, but
do you
that means that you can't play the Samson Titan.
So he didn't have the power here because he wants to play Pride Leader, but have you ever done the play, do you play the Wisp, bounce back your 0-drop, and replay it for pseudo vigilance here?
Wait, so they have the 2-drop?
Yeah, they have the Wisp in hand, but they didn't have enough power because they wanted to play the Pride Leader, and they only had 5. If they had 6, I would have been interested to see if you play the Wisp to bounce the Warrior back to your hand and replay it so it can block. Actually, probably would have been pretty good, yeah, especially with the 3/4 Reckless. But Serpent's just going to attack right into this big board by Jedi. But I guess what are they're going to have to, right? That's their game plan here.
Again, though, they're losing an extra 1/1 for this for attacking with the I know they have to attack with the 3/4, but
Mm-hmm. Follow up an assembly line. That's going to go wide for them. They don't really have any payoffs yet for going wide. They have another Titan in hand, Torch, Initiate, but nothing really game breaking at this point. And that Mystic's going to be tough. Serpent does not have an answer for that Mystic Attendant. Send it.
attack. This is a proper attack, I think. Although I'm still going to lose 2-1 once again for this. And this sucks for Serpent. They have to, because Serpent doesn't really have any reaching attack besides shift units, which of course three turns away, right? And they already have Mystic Ascended. They played another Mystic Ascended. They definitely have it's going to be very difficult.
And there's that second Mystic Ascendant followed by a Power, drawing 2 cards. This is going to be really hard for Serpent to come back from this. These Mystic Ascendants, they're 6 power. They're late in the game, but once they get going, they have to be removed on the spot, or you just take over. You just drown your opponent in card advantage.
Yeah, and Serpent has to play this unshifted, which is unfortunate because that's one of the few things that they could have done to get back into the game or to win the game is play things shifted and potentially get into unblockable damage.
Mm-hmm. And now Serpent's going to be on the back foot, facing down a 12/12 and a 10/10 Ascendant. And Jedi can either turn the page at some point, or they can just sit back, get a whole bunch of card advantage, and then turn the tides when they have a better board state. Lots of options for them here.
Yeah. I think I would have also played the. Oh man, they didn't attack, which is with the 12/12. Like, what are they gonna do?
Yeah.
Block. The thing is that if they quad block there, you lose 2 Titans.
Yeah. Yeah, the fact that they could trade for both Titans is pretty huge there. That's going to get a 14/14 and a 12/12.
They have to put back their.
Yeah, I'm just going to take care of that flyer, but that's not the end of the world here. But yep. So I agree. I think that Death Toucher or the deadly unit there is a little annoying. But you're going to get the killer here. That's going to be able to take care of the deadly unit. And then, probably to start turning the tides here. You have so much card advantage at this point that I think you can start putting those Mystic Ascendants into the red zone. It's not going to matter. Serpent's going to toss it in there. And that's going to be a 2-1 victory for Jedi, or 2-1 victory for Jedi EJ. And he's going to go to 2-0.